Hi YouTube, and welcome to another edition of On the Road Tuning with ACDodd, and this time we're all over the place. So we got Waterlooville, we've got Taunton, and now we're going up to Gloucester. So here we are down in Waterlooville. First car's in. This is Russ's nice Mini. Lovely little car, this one. Look at that. Everybody likes a nice little car. And this is a nice Clubman. It's got a 1293 engine, and according to the customer, Russ, there's no particular issues with it. Maybe running a bit rich, so we'll get stuck in and see what we get. Okay, we got this 1293 dialed in. I went through the engine, got the spark plugs. It's got everything's right on this engine. It's got 65D Dizzy with the correct 0.8 ohm coil. And the other thing I've noticed is the advance curve is probably a little bit slow, but the other interesting thing about this one is when I looked at the fueling, it was absolutely perfect, and when I took the carburetor apart, it's one that I'd already made a needle for, which made me giggle. So yeah, all I was able to do is I was able to advance the timing a little bit on this one, and then just reset the base idle mixture, which basically leaned out the mix across the park throttle range, which is what was needed. So yeah, this one was spot on. And of course we've got a leaking heater valve, so that's something for the customer to fix. Ah, wow, look at this. First of two Metros today, so this is a good old Metro City. So I haven't seen one of these for a little while. But they're popping up now when people want them tuned. This one's even got the classic 8-ball gear knob. Excellent. Just brings back memories. Anyway, under the bonnet, we've got a roaring 998. So I've already got into this one, but what we'll do now is we'll speak to the owner and see why he's called us down. Right, Gareth, this is your Tower of Power, the 998.
It certainly is, 1 litre, 20 litre.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so why did you call us down?
It's not been running right. I don't rarely use it, and why would I not draw on AC's experience to come and do it for me? Excellent.
All right. Yeah, we've had a quick look at it, and there are a few issues, but we're going to work through those. But you say, have you driven it on the road at all, this one?
Yes, I used it to go to Goodwood Revival and a couple of the local classic car meets outside of that to the MOT and back.
Okay. So how would you describe how it drives currently?
Sluggish, dead spots, running very rich, needing a lot of choke. Not needing a choke.
Yeah.
Yes, leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay, and quite heavy on fuel?
I've not really driven enough to know fuel economy, to be honest.
Okay, all right. Well, trust me, these are one of the most fuel efficient cars back in the 80s. So, you know, if it's not doing 50 to the gallon, there's a problem. So let's see if we can get it back there.
Fantastic.
Okay, so this little 998 Metro, we've got a whole host of little issues actually. I've had to put some new spark plugs in it, obviously, because we had the Bosch Super 4s, which are an excellent plug. They're just not right in this particular application, which is a ballasted ignition points system. So in terms of what's going on, we have a problem with the inlet manifold, which is leaking. So I've got misfire on the centre cylinders. So the owner, Gareth, is going to go and try and reseal that now. I've checked the advance curve in the Lucas Dizzy, and it's classic mid-80s Metro, which is very retarded advanced curve. So it needs an ignition advance curve, one of my 998 high compression curves, and then it also needs a vacuum unit. So that's problematic as well. Further to that, we've also got the wrong needle in the carburetor. So yeah, this has got a whole host of things that are adding up to what the customer reported as sluggish performance. So yeah, we'll get those hopefully sorted today, and then we can dial this in. Okay, so we're back on the continuing on the Metro. Metro 1000's got some well-worn points. When I took the Dizzy out, just touching the wires meant that the condenser all came out on its own, so I didn't even pull that. So this one needs a big ignition service, so we'll be changing all the bits and pieces. as well as the advance curve. So you know, you can see how some people have cars, and that's the reason why they call me out, because they need these things setting up, and a lot of spares need replacing. So I have to carry all this lot with me, but it's necessary to keep the cars running. Okay, got the little Metro running. This one's all right now. Had to have a custom needling. Obviously, the aforementioned advanced curve and a new vacuum unit, spark plugs. So basically, a rotor arm, set of points, and a condenser. So the whole, basically, most of the ignition was changed. Fast drop damper needed, modification required, and then obviously a custom needle. But as you can hear, that's a lot better. Let's go and see what the owner thinks. So what do you think now, Gareth?
I think it's money well spent. It has transformed it. The throttle works like a throttle should, and the dead spots are gone. It's completely revitalised the car.
Excellent. So no flat spots at all, more power?
More power, yeah, no dead spots, smooth linear throughout.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm glad we was able to help you. Obviously, in this case, it needed a lot of work, didn't it? So
yeah, but phase into forgotten about when you go out and drive it. Don't worry, it's only money.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I'm glad we was able to make such a big difference. So thanks for calling us out. And also, it's worth saying thanks for hosting everybody today as well, because it's your property that everybody came to. So without people like you, it's more expensive for everybody else. So well done on that front.
Not a problem. I'm glad you came down and appreciate everything.
No problem. All right, thank you. So here we are, down near Taunton today, and we've got a beautiful restored Mark II Cooper S, and the owner's brought me down here today because we're running quite poorly, and I think it's because it's been in storage, and it's a beautiful car, this one. So it's had the full beans at some point. I think it's a Keith Carver engine, so well done Keith, because it's running lovely. Twin SUs, electronic ignition, and yeah, let's go and talk to the owner. Right, this is Gary. He's the owner of this lovely Mark II Cooper S. It's a great car, this one, Gary, so credit to you. So why did you call me out here today?
Well, the car's been parked up for the last couple of years with COVID and all the rest of it. It's running very, very poorly. You get your own services out to get it back up together where it should be, and hopefully that's where we are now. Okay,
right. So when you say it's running poorly, is it misfire? What's it been doing?
Yeah, it was. It didn't like starting. It's rough, idle, if it idled at all, and it just wasn't what it should be. Nothing like it. So whether that's because it's been parked up for a couple of years.
Yeah, okay. And I think, obviously, I'm already into this one, so I think you probably hit the nail on the head as a little bit, because it's been sat for a while. Yeah. But let's dig into it and see what we can find.
Okay.
Okay, we got this one dialed in. We needed a set of plugs, gap the plugs properly, and a little. We had to do a little bit of tweaking with the needles. They weren't quite in the same place. So one was higher than the other in the pistons, but I've got them sorted out now. A little tiny bit of modification on the needles at about 4,500 RPM. I haven't got it perfect, but it's better than it was. So yeah, this one runs strong, so it's over to a test drive now. Right, Gary's been out for a test drive now that we've finished the tune-up, and let's see what he thinks. So how was it, Gary?
Oh, absolutely brilliant, mate. 100%. Completely different drive. Yeah, like I say, yeah. I just can't explain it. It's really, really good.
Excellent. An interesting one, this. I didn't do much, did I?
Not really, no. Well, you say you didn't, but obviously it's made a hell of a difference to the car. But yeah, what you said you've done doesn't sound like a great deal of work, but what it's done to the performance of the car is absolutely amazing.
And has it ever run like that before?
No.
Oh, well, okay.
Not at all.
All right, so would you recommend this service for other people?
Of course I would, yeah, without a doubt. If you want it spot on and you want it running like it is, this is the way to go.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Gary, for having me round, and hopefully you can enjoy the car.
I will.
Excellent.
Yeah,
thank you
very much.
Okay, so here we are up in Gloucester. We've got a nice little 9 on 8 that's not very happy. So this one is flat spots, misfiring, all sorts of things, not starting. So let's go and talk to the owner and see what it's doing. Okay, this is Julie. She owns the Mini. So why have you called me here today?
Because it feels like the engine's cursed. It plonks out all the time, it's got no power, it feels like it's going to explode, and I've been driving with a fire extinguisher.
Okay, that's pretty serious. So when you have been driving it, you say it wants to conk out. What's the performance been like?
Rubbish. It doesn't like going above 30 mile an hour. If you want to get to 40, you've got to be in a straight line and no braking whatsoever.
Okay, so it sounds pretty severe. Let's get stuck in and see what we can find.
Yet.
Okay, so we've been through this one. All sorts of issues. Don't know where to start really. Main one is we haven't got a main 12 volt feed going to the ignition module. It's got electronic ignition on it, but it's been taken off the ballast wire. So that I can't fix today because I haven't got any wiring. The advance curve in the distributor is very, very slow. So that's going to need further adjustment. I can't fix it today because I don't carry that particular distributor with me. So I've just managed to wind on 12 degrees of advance because whoever installed it put it in way too retarded. Spark plugs, we changed those, put a set of 5s in this one and gapped them at 25 thou. The ones that were in it were basically somebody had fitted them and not gapped the plug, so it was having trouble starting. So that's kind of secured that issue. The other thing is although we got a nice new carb on there and that's great to see, this carburetor is playing up, so its fueling is not quite what I'd expect. When I initially looked at it, it was also extremely lean, so I've been able to put a needle in it and then make a nice custom needle for it to get the fueling somewhere near right. It's just that it kind of leads and lags a little bit more than I would expect, so there's further issues in there, which I think in this case we need to look at another carburetor, or at least take this one apart and have a look, see what's going on. Anyway, after all that, it's actually not too bad. It's not perfect, this one, but we've got a recipe for some further work, which will see this one running spot on. Okay, so Julie's just been back, come back from a nice drive. What's it like now?
It's not scary anymore. I actually could pull away from junctions and not look for a massive gap big enough for a lorry. It's only a Mini, but I didn't have the balls to pull it out before. It was too cursed and too dangerous. I weren't sure if it would go or stall in the middle of junction.
Okay, what's the power like?
It's still an old car, but it's good.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the best it's been for probably 5 years. So.
Okay, so yeah, it's basically running a lot better is what you say. Yeah, okay. All right, and as we've already said, there's a few issues that we still need to fix on yours, and I didn't have the parts today.
That's fine.
But at the end of the day, we're going in the right direction. So it looks like I'll be coming back at some point with a boot full of spares for this one.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish the job off and we'll make it everything it can be then. All right?
Triggers broom, everything new but the block.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for calling me out.
All right.
Okay, a little bit more evidence there of people fitting parts and either not fitting the right parts, or as in the photo here, they're fitting parts but they're not gapping the spark plugs. This seems to be quite, really prevalent now that people just aren't even trying. So if you want your car to run right, you need at least to get the basics right. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. That was taken over a few weekends, so it wasn't all done in one day. But the idea was just to give you the highlights of a couple of days tuning efforts. As ever, if you want to see more, please like and subscribe and also share. And I'll see you soon on the next episode of On the Road with ACDodd. Take care.